Please tell me, what are you taking pictures of? Birds. What birds? Terns. Gulls. Terns, sea and common. These are terns. Most probably terns. That's what I think. Terns do not follow departing or returning ships. They seldom are seen at the seacoast. Searching for food, terns do not fly in flocks. Usually, terns nest on islands of lakes or big rivers. The tern and gull differ in their way of life and biological peculiarities. Indeed, terns, that is common and little terns, mainly feed on live fish, occasionally catch a dragon larva. Gulls, frequently seen by people and often taken for terns, are more common in Lithuania. Black-headed gulls may be observed following plowing tractors. Mew, European herring and Caspian gulls are common. They also live on landfills, food waste. Terns may never be seen at landfills. Warming climate has confused the life of birds. In winter, rivers are rarely frozen up, and abundant waterfowl stay in Lithuania even in cold weathers. Thus, for birds, spring has an early start. Common mergansers start their spring performance in early February. In mid-March, great crested grebes, migrants from nearby places, may be observed. Their courtship season is loud. Black-headed gulls are squawking on their breeding sites. Common golden eyes are looking for places to nest. And where are terns? Common terns arrive first, though depending on the course of spring. They are the earliest ones to come to their breeding sites at the end of April or early May in southern Lithuania. The little terns returns later, in early May, and starts to nest in the second half of the month. It is early May at Novoreistis, time of a big feast in the colony of Caspian gulls. The first chicks are hatching. A little further away from them, the crested grebes laid their eggs. They will nest for a long period of time until the family will increase in number. The common golden-eyed chicks have hatched recently. They feel self-dependent, though obediently are following their mother duck. Terns have started to look around their last year breeding sites. Usually, the same couple returns and to the same nest hole. It is very confusing and hard to say where male and female partners meet, as both members of the pair come to the nest hole together. Then the male tries to prove his fishing ability and beckons the partner to enjoy fresh fish. The process is meant to demonstrate his fishing mastery, repeated a number of times. The female chooses a partner who will assist in raising youngs. Contrary to other birds, both members of tern pairs feed their youngs. 5 species of terns breed in Lithuania. In the implementation of the project, the ornithologists will collect information on common and little terns. Why have the naturalists chosen these 2 species? Our objective is to help people to recognize these 2 species specifically, the little and common terns. Also, what they look like. The little terns is the size of a swift, maybe a little larger. It is a tiny bird, the smallest one among terns, and very attractive. They do not breed in Novoreistis or Kretonas because of grass. They need sand or gravel, open, clear and beautiful sites. The common tern is looking for safety of an island. They never nest at the shore. They choose alluvial deposits, peat piles or sand of islands. overgrown with low grass. They choose islands, avoiding connection to the mainland. Ground plays no importance. It can be peat, sand, gravel or grass. But on an island, both large or small. A habit type demonstrates the choice of terns for breeding. Both the common and little terns breed on islands in water bodies. Maintenance of these sites is of particular importance. In the implementation of the 5-year project, for protection of these species in Lithuania, we will maintain their habitats on 11 sites, ensuring suitable breeding conditions for the birds there. All project activities of the Ornithological Society of Partners will take place beyond the bird breeding season. Now it is the very end of May. The birds in the pond are struggling for their breeding sites. The crested grebes left the unfinished nest, but the place did not stay empty for a long time. The common terns occupied it, the only pair of these graceful birds in the pond. Typically, the common terns breed in colonies. Possibly, the couple has not found the right company, but they are not lonely here. Common poachets, Eurasian coots, grebes and swans are buzzing around them. A morning of early June has broken at Lake Kretuonas in northern Lithuania, where the ornithologists are observing Big Island in the lake. The chicks of the Caspian gull have hatched early and grown up, and their vociferous parents are drowning voices of other birds around. Multicolor vegetation is flourishing on this 23-hectare island, richly fertilized by birds. Wild chervils thrive on the island ends. Terns try to avoid the wild chervil areas. Waders do not like high grass either. However, it is a very good cover for chicks of black-headed gulls. Possibly this is the reason why both colonies of black-headed gulls on this island have chosen the thickets as their habitats. Another reason, common gulls notorious for their pilfering habit are nesting nearby. In short, struggle for existence is taking place on the island. At the edges, closer to the water, godwits are raising alert. Common redchanks look troubled by us. Their chicks are hiding in the grass nearby. At the beginning of June, youngs of the common tern hatch. There are 2 tiny colonies of terns on the island. The naturalists joke, saying that a subspecies of the common tern occurs here, that is meadow tern. Kretuonas is among those few places where terns breed in luxuriant vegetation. Not very high but thick vegetation serves as the best hideaway from raptors. Raptors are abundant on the island. Caspian gulls, an invasion species, have been increasing in numbers year after year. They supplanted European herring gulls that used to breed here. Even naturalists find difficult to identify these 2 species. According to the ornithologists, Caspian gulls prevail here now. These large birds, nearly the size of a hen, behave as raptors. This is the Novoreistis Ornithological Reserve. Caspian gulls prevail here too. Piled peat in a former peat bog, flooded by foresters some time ago, became attractive habitats for common terns. Later, European herring gulls appeared and started plundering here. But later, they were roasted by Caspian gulls. On the tiny island where currently common terns stay together with black-headed gulls, it is difficult to bring their offspring successfully. Common terns are fierce, capable of defending themselves against gulls, but their youngs lack natural hideaways, thus survival in the open habitat becomes severe. Chicks of terns are just starting to hatch, while chicks of European herring and Caspian gulls are bigger by now. Certainly, they are in need of a lot of food. And where did European herring gulls ousted from the reserve go? According to the naturalists, this endangered species retreated to western Lithuania. Currently, these birds can be observed at the Baltic Sea or at landfills nearby. Currently, the ornithologists counted about 200 breeding pairs of European herring gulls there. The purpose of visually disturbing items has been clarified. We have noticed a large number of tiny sheds, the Novoreistis Ornithological Reserve, on islands of the Nemunas River and other places where terns breed. Possibly these alien subjects do not add beauty to the landscape, but they appear to be a cover introduced by the ornithologists for offspring. The first idea came to our mind a long time ago, some 10 years back, when carrying out research of common terns, we produced floating platforms. The first platforms were used in the Baltoy-Voki fish ponds. It is a platform, bold, gravel. In summer it is really hot here, no grass. Thus, we considered that we should design some kind of simple hideaways. So, we hammered 2 planks together and placed such small shelters around. And they proved to be the right measure. The Caspian gulls do not attack mature birds. That is why we place these shelters. They provide shade as well. For example, in Cratonas, the grass is higher, and offspring of terns can hide themselves there, but on open sandy or peat islands, it is necessary to provide such covers as a protection measure. In the Nemunas River, the covers are of particular importance. When ornithologists arrive to count birds and water tourists are around, and though we put up warning signs, they disembark to look around. Disturbed youngs of terns cower or jump into water to swim further. If the current of the river is rapid enough, they are unable to return on the island against the current and perish. And if they can find a suitable hideaway, they just get in there and perch safely. In recent summers, severe droughts in Lithuania exhausted bigger rivers. The water level fell down. The Nemunas water level has fallen down catastrophically. Some of the islands in the shallows, where terns used to breed, merged with the shores and became easily accessible to coastal predators. Such a natural disaster incurred damage to birds on the islands. The purpose of our trip was to check if terns were still there. A week ago, a few nests were found, but now there is none left. The season is not over yet, as little terns are late breeders. However, the colony was destroyed by predators. Most likely, this year, due to low water levels, predators could easily access the islands. Now the riverside joins the island. They are not separated any longer. Over 50 little terns and some 20 common terns bred here, as well as few black-headed gulls and several pairs of little ringed plovers. Under normal conditions, the island is not accessible to predators. The stream is fast on both sides, and the place is safe for terns. But this year, the island joined the shore, shallows extend around, water levels dropped low, and thus predators have easy access to it. Where channels between the islands and shore were deeper, offspring of the birds survived. Such habitats are usually home to mixed bird colonies. Islands in the Nemunas River are most popular among little terns. Common terns settle next to them willingly. Little terns are more adaptable to various biotope conditions and environment. The breeding season of terns is long. Chicks of older couples come first, while younger birds breed their offspring later. As a result, the islands buzz with chicks of various ages. Terns are good fishers. They catch small live fish. And young terns are ravenous, but they grow rapidly and demand increasing amounts of food. Then the main concern of parents is timely feeding their offspring. By early July, terns chicks become nearly the size of their parents. Little terns lay their eggs later than common terns. Their breeding is also later, thus their youngs are small. the breeding season extended. The time is running fast now. But chicks will quickly grow, get stronger, learn to fly, and become self-dependent. Migration of terns starts in mid-July. The first season of birth watching is coming to an end. Terns will gradually leave their habitats and will wander along the Nemunas River for a long time, will feed and migrate slowly towards the sea. And they will not stay there for a long time either. Then they will continue a long journey, perhaps towards the coast of South Africa, where their usual wintering sites are. In the meantime, ornithologists start their autumn work in deserted bird habitats. Under the 5-year LIFE project, the Ornithological Society, together with its partners, maintain, manage and protect 11 natural sites. Grass is mowed on the islands of the Nemunas River. Low-value bushes are removed, and silt from the canal bottoms is dredged up. Similar activities are carried out in Kretuonas and Kalviai. In the past, people pastured sheep on Big Island of Kretuonas. Every year, the island was mowed. Numerous waders and over 200 pairs of common terns bred here. Having established the reserve and prohibited economic activities, the island quickly grew over with bushes and trees. Terns and many other birds left the island. Having accessed the mistakes, the scientists restored open areas on the island and terns returned. In order to ensure stable breeding of terns on the site, permanent habitat management work is required. Dense wild chervil areas extend on both ends of the island. These plants spread their seeds early, and late mowing does not always bring the desired result. Employees of the Aukštaitija National Park, supported by the Ornithological Society, received help from local farmers and moved 105 Scoot-breed sheep to the island in late spring. In autumn it became clear the experiment was successful. The sheep reduced the wild chervil area significantly. However, places overgrown with nettles remained as does not fit as food for sheep. The ornithologists will have much work here. Besides, they will also engage in interesting and experimental work. The Lithuanian Ornithological Society and the Aukštaitija National Park undertook joint efforts to save the island, to mow the grass and cut the trees here. The island is managed, but in spite of that, the vegetation needs to be cut and mowed. Common terns live and breed here. However, little terns need entirely open sandy sites, and such are not found here. Thus, the Lithuanian Ornithological Society has undertaken rather strange work, at first glance, to restore a habitat suitable for little terns, an open beach. Sand and gravel is transported here. A beach, an open lot of 500 square meters, will be produced, where we hope little terns will settle in the future. Similar work, but on a larger scale, is carried out on the Nemunas River. The Lithuanian Inland Waterways Authority, state enterprise, dredges up the Nemunas riverbed every year with powerful dredges. The Ornithological Society swiftly adapted the dredged sand deposits to the needs of the ongoing project. The Inland Waterways Authority has powerful dredges, and it is not possible to build islands there by hand or using excavators. Also, one needs to know where to pile, so that the sand will not be washed away by flood. The same situation is at Kalviai Lake. On its islands, over 200 pairs of terns used to breed, but now only few pairs may be observed there, because the islands became overgrown with bushes. At present, gulls breed there, high grass, reeds and bushes grow, and terns abandon the site. We have another partner, a company named Ecostoma, that owns a mobile dredger. The latter, owned by the Inland Waterways Authority, is large, bulky, and not transportable, and this one is smaller, easy to transport. So they created the islands in the places and numbers as was indicated by us. one more breeding season started. All birds, including terns, returned to their birthplaces some time ago. However, this year, the peace of the birds is about to be disrupted. The ornithologists patiently waited for the common tern to get halfway through the breeding process, so they would not leave their nests when disturbed. An experiment is underway. The bird researchers will try to fix transmitters on common terns. First, terns need to be caught. The ornithologists have been preparing for the work for a long time, and we hope that the terns will not suffer much stress caused by this process. Similar research is conducted in various parts of the world with numerous species of birds. An experiment with such small-sized birds will be the first, and not only in Lithuania. Bags are produced for bird keeping. The birds can breathe, but are in the dark and do not rush about. The team of ornithologists is involved on fitting transmitters on birds. The process is rather fast. Precise preparation and fitting a transmitter on takes approximately 10 minutes per bird. A special ring is also placed for observing the bird later. The ring only indicates the country of origin. It is an identification number. Later, additional information is added: the species, sex, age, all to be said about the bird at the particular time. And then, if this ring is seen and scanned somewhere, a record is made of its observance in a particular place. The information from the ring is obtained when the bird is caught or through remote scanning. They collect it remotely, and we will unload the transmitter data and will see where it feeds, flew, maybe where it migrated. Its weight is around 3 grams, roughly 3 grams, whereas the weight of a tern is over 100. Sometimes their weight is 120, and as a rule, the transmitter weight should not exceed 3 to 5% of the bird body weight. Actually, it compromises some 2–2.5% of the body weight. Until we have not tested, we have doubts regarding the center of gravity, because it is very important which place you fasten it onto the bird, in order not to cause imbalance during its flight. But as we have seen, they fly perfectly, shake a little as usual, and then fly away, because it also is an important factor. Not just the weight, but where it is fastened on. The research carried out in Lithuania is one of the first involving a large number of transmitters, and we hope to be able to monitor terns for quite a long time. In short, we fit transmitters onto a bird, they record their positions automatically, and at the same time they are simultaneously charged with the help of their solar battery, and automatically the data is picked up by the base receiver situated near the colony. When we arrive there, we have to connect the computer and download the data from the base receiver to it, and it enables us to fully see where the terns fly and what they do. According to our observations after releasing terns and later, at least visually, there are no signs that a transmitter would affect or incur harm to the bird's flight. The transmitters were placed in 5 locations: on the island of Lake Kretuonas, on the Nemunas River near Birštonas, at Novaraistis, near the fishery ponds in the district Raseiniai, and near Kintai. To monitor terns on Kretuonas Island, ornithologists installed a remote webcam. The camera facilitated to monitor behavior of terns with transmitters fitted on them. And by connecting to the link of internet, nature lovers could admire the moments of life of terns around the clock. The information obtained is very interesting from the scientific point of view, but we can't provide comments on it so far. because we don't understand it fully yet. New breeding places were discovered with the help of transmitters previously unknown, and no one could even imagine that terns breed on the roofs of dwelling houses and other buildings. This was the first surprise for our ornithologists, what they found in the town of Alytus, and flights to that destination were numerous. During the day, terns stayed on the islands as were registered, and at night they flew to Alytus. They did it on a regular basis, every night. An analogous case was witnessed at Novoristis. From there, terns flew to the town of Marijampolė. To the center of the town, we went to check and discovered the colony on one of the roofs. But the most interesting story revealed that a tern, apparently after unsuccessful breeding, maybe her nest was destroyed, we don't know and could not check it. So from the town of Prienai, it flew all along the Nemunas river. Here along Nemunas, it flew straight south, then stayed in the ponds, fed there, and then via Belarus, Poland, the Suwalki region, passed through Augustov towards Prienai. We considered it will stay in Prienai. However, it flew to the ponds in Kintai and bred there. One fact is clear already now, without much analysis, that a tern is able to fly 20-30 kilometers without excess in Java, and where is not reasonable, they would not fly. The record winner covered almost 1,000 kilometers a day, 50 kilometers, a dozen of times flew a certain distance, flew to feed, and 700-800 kilometers a day. We can see now that the Lithuanian ornithologists fitted transmitters of this size on the common tern for the first time globally. Researchers in other countries also tried to fit the transmitters, as they had been manufactured before. However, they did not resolve how to fit them on terns, enabling long wearing. It is late autumn now. Terns left the Lithuanian sea coast long ago. The ornithologists stay waiting patiently for these interesting, unpredictable birds to return next year. It is expected that at least the majority of these transmitters will withstand such a long journey, and the data gathered by them will present the ornithologists with more than one surprise.